otherwise. So that was the setup. Did you have a nice daylight shower this morning? Apparently, yes. No, I learned that yesterday, that we could get some daylight shower and get some daylight injury. So before we start, I'd like to introduce my new colleague as a moderator, and he has been fantastically attending all the Daylight Symposium. So he's the most experienced guy about Daylight Symposium. His name in itself is a great symbol because his name is Werner Osterhaus. And the name of his name is the symbol of a family house which has split in two between east and west part of Germany. That was in the 15th century. So please welcome Werner Osterhaus. Good morning, Wester.
Good morning, Michel.
And Wester is not a professor, he's an architect.
Yeah.
Right? You want to say
I don't have anything to profess, but I am a professor as well at Aarhus University in Denmark, but I've been around the world a little bit, starting in Germany with my education, moving on to the US, then New Zealand, and for the last 8 years I've now been in Aarhus in Denmark at the engineering school there at Aarhus University. And as it happens, I was the very first moderator at the symposium in Budapest, together with Marc Fontenot, who is also present in the audience today and yesterday. And I've done it with Marilyn Anderson, also in Copenhagen. So there's a little bit of experience. So like on Facebook, you have lots of friends, right? Except that I'm not on Facebook or LinkedIn or any of these kind of things.
Good.
Okay.
So let's start right now, because we have had the chance to have a flight from Paris that has not been delayed. That is quite exceptional. And and the pilot was not on strike either. So we have had the chance to have one of the most distinguished architects in France who came for us. And this is Anne Lacaton. Anne Lacaton is graduated from the School of Architecture of Bordeaux in 1980, and I'm very pleased with that because I was born in Bordeaux. Well, you don't care about that, but for me that means a lot. And she obtained a diploma in urban planning, again at the University of Bordeaux in 1984. Visiting professor at the University of Madrid, master housing from 2007 to 2013 at the EPFL in Lausanne, a very nice city I heard yesterday, and this I can confirm, it's a beautiful city. And then she went to University of Florida, and she will introduce herself much better than I can. And Lacaton has done a fantastic job talking about bringing daylight. One of the very recent reference which I've been very impressed, that was this tower in Paris where we could not move the inhabitants because they were renting the flats in this big tower, and you have really completely modified this ugly tower into a nice place which is full of daylight, and I'm sure you will know how to explain that much better than I. So Anne Lacaton, please, the floor is yours, and heartily welcome.
Thank you very much. So as a former VELUX awarded, together with Jean-Philippe Vassal, I'm very pleased to be here again today and to present some of our projects, whereas you say the daylight, the space, the uses, the life are the most important. We like to say that far beyond any aesthetic and formal determination, beyond the rules, the programs, the standards, buildings are beautiful when people feel well in them, when the light inside is beautiful and the air is pleasant, when the exchange with the outside seems easy and gentle, and when uses and sensations are unexpected. We base all our projects on the principle of generosity of space and economy, serving the life, the uses, and the appropriation, with the aim of changing the standard. The freedom of use, the capacity of space, the flexibility, to give importance and place to people and uses, to appropriation, are the most important qualities we aim in designing the projects. These values refer to the idea of inhabiting, which is for us a fundamental concept of architecture. Inhabiting places people and uses at the center. Our design philosophy is based on some major principles: the generosity of space, extra space, double space. And for us, it's important to provide this general space because it facilitates multiplicity of views, and it gives also the freedom to the users. We trust that through the space, architecture has a social impact, which is for us very important. Another principle is to work on bioclimatic concepts. It means maximum use of natural resource of climate, sunlight, ventilation for natural comfort, energy saving, and we like to use in all of our projects the principle of winter gardens, which are not only climatic space, but also important and interesting space for uses, as you will see later in the projects. And also the bioclimatic design, for us, as this interesting that it endows the users to responsibility through simple gestures. Another principle is the economy, that we don't consider as a tool of, as a constraint, but on the opposite, as a tool of freedom. Economy allows to maximize the budget. It allows making more for the same budget. It allows to reach for what is essential and to set priorities. We give importance and value to the existing, to reuse, to transform, to reinvent from the existing. And for us, it's a tool and the opportunity for a sustainable development of the cities. We try never create constraints of use, to give place for people and uses, to allow appropriation and users' creativity. We like to introduce in the projects dialogue and participation to allow discussion and adjustments in the design process, but also to fit with the program and expectations, and to involve the users' training and responsibility. And the process of designing for us is a process from the inside out. It means that we start the design from the interior and not outside looking at buildings as objects. We like to think the project as the position of the user in motion from a space to another space. And we think that a project is an addition of spaces, of atmospheres, of relations. Among the projects that we are working, we work a lot on housing projects. It's an important part of our practice. And for us, housing means generosity of space, of uses, of natural light, of view, comfort, and freedom. It started a long time ago with this first project that is very well known, but for us it remains a very important project that we have still in mind when we are designing the project. That was a house for a family, and our goals for this house was first to change radically the standards of prefabricated houses that we found too small for the life of a family. And we were involved in doubling the surface of a traditional little house. It means that for the budget they had, it's a low-cost house, 60,000 euros. They could expect something like 70 square meters, but we had in mind to do much more because we considered at the time, it was in 1992, we considered that 70 square meters is not enough for a family to have a nice life. So we propose this house, which is 180 square meters, and we also introduced the bioclimatic design through this very large greenhouse, which is added to the rooms on the east part, on the garden side. And this very large greenhouse is, of course, an interesting bioclimatic space, but it's also a large space of uses, as in addition to the rooms of the house, has become not a garden, but an extra space, an extra living room, much used by the family. So we also demonstrated that through a good design, through setting priorities, that was possible to leave these standards, including in a small budget as the one we had. So this house was also the result of the first project that we did for this family, which was really based on the principle of greenhouse, which was mounted on, built on the wall. And inside, we had boxes where we could find the rooms, bedrooms, the living room. But unfortunately, this project was a little bit too expensive. Something like 10,000 over the budget. So that was necessary to work again, and we proposed finally the other project. But since that time, and much before, while we were studying architecture, with Jean-Philippe, we have been very fast interested by the agricultural greenhouses. That around the city of Bordeaux, where we were studying, we had a lot of these greenhouses because it's a region for vegetables, fruits, flowers. And we were interested first by the big amount of light that the atmosphere inside, like outside, but protected from the rain, and also the huge skills of this construction in order to manage the climate inside, with a very high precision of half a degree, using only natural elements like overventilation, transparency, shading, and we were involved to use this construction in architecture, and to see what we could do with that in project of housing or anything. So the project for the family Latapi was the first project was based on the use of these elements. But finally, it was too expensive because it was not normal condition to build it. We have too many structures, and it's why we decided to change. But a little later, following this idea of using the greenhouses, for a social housing program in the city of Mulhouse, we reintroduced this idea of the greenhouses, and here we could make it for this project of 14 rented dwellings. And here, for this project, we were 5 architects involved in this project, which was in the middle of a worker city of the middle of 19th century. And the owner of this social housing company commissioned the 5 architects to develop innovative social housing. It was in 2005. And he was ready to listen any new ideas. The only condition was to respect the budget, because public social housing in France is subsidized by the government or by cities. So he had a budget that we should respect. So here again, we were involved to build much more than the standards of social housing, and we used this prefabricated construction in order to build on the plot the maximum volume, which was based on 2 levels: a ground level with concrete construction with 2.7 meters under ceiling, and it's provided the platform on which we built 3 ranks of standardized greenhouses. And then in the greenhouses, we rebuilt. We consider that we have built a kind of big loft, and inside we divided it in 14 dwellings. So this simple construction allowed to be very economic in the construction of the structure. So we could use this economy of construction to give more space inside the budget. Then that was the division of this volume in 14 dwellings, with the rule that every dwelling should have space on ground floor and space on the first floor. So this is the construction completed. We used all the systems that allow to regulate naturally the climate, like large ventilation, shading, also thermal curtains on the ground floor behind the glass sliding doors. All these elements are totally necessary to get a good climate inside and to regulate the climate. But it's also count on the action of the users to open when it's necessary to open, or to close curtains, but also even to move inside the house at the different moments of the day. And the users understand very well that in summer at midday, it's not the right place to be in the greenhouse, but it's better to be on the ground floor on the north side, while in the afternoon around 6, it becomes much better to come back to the greenhouse, because then you have a better temperature. So that was the situation of the space when we delivered the project. Here we are inside in a very large living room, and it's opened to this greenhouse of, in this case, 40 square meters, which is an extra space given to the housing. And the same level for the ground, so that it really happens a continuity from inside to outside. And then we let the place to the users, to the families, to come here and to make their own appropriation. So just these few data to show that we completed the project with the goal of doubling the space nearly. The standard was 100 square meters, and we built 187 square meters for this one of these units. And the discussion with the owner led also to not to increase the rent because it was much bigger. That was a discussion very early in the process, but also extremely important, because if he had increased the rent because of the size of the dwelling, it could not be any more affordable for the same family. So this deal in between architect and the client was extremely important at the beginning of the process of design. So and then the people they do themselves not finishes, but the life inside, and we are surprised to see that 14 situation become 14 different ways of using the space and 14 different appropriation of space. So the efficiency of this greenhouse has been proved. We did measures since 10 years, and it's of course a very good climatic concept in terms of energy saving. For the same client, we did recently another social housing project in the same city. Here, the density was much better, and we had to build 4 levels, ground floor and 4 levels. But that was the common agreement, without any discussion at the beginning of the process, that we should go in the same way of doubling the standard space of social housing. So here it's built in different conditions, but all the flats, some have 1 level, some are in duplex, but all have crossing orientation. All of them have winter gardens. On ground floor, some have little gardens, and on the upper floors, they have balconies. This winter garden here that is nearly 3 meters wide, we use a construction system with very large spans so that the living room is 10 meters large without any columns, and the same inside the space of the dwelling because the span of the construction is 10 meters. And the last levels with some more height in the ceiling. Again, this winter garden and some terraces. On the same principle, but more and more with more bigger densification. This is in Paris. It's a multi-purpose building for housing, social housing, student housing. But also we have a little institution for disabled. We are hosted here as 6 rooms. And also shops and retails and little art gallery. So here again, that's the same principle of trying to get maximum light, maximum transparency, and then this transparency and this light is filtered by systems of shading, curtains, winter gardens on the garden side, all these systems that allow to filter the light, the view, but also these 4 elements. It means 2 facades and 2 sets of curtains, combined all together, sometimes all closed, sometimes all open, half closed, half open. They allow to get very good control of the temperature and the climate inside the dwellings. As it was said in the introduction, we are also much involved in the modern housing heritage and what to do with all these dwellings, these blocks of dwellings built in the cities in the 60s, 70s. And it's time now, since 10 years in many countries, to think what to do with this important heritage of housing. And especially in France, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, there was an important national program of urban renovation, which was based for the housing part on the demolition and rebuild of an important amount, something like 200,000 units, which were scheduled for demolition. So at the time, we were involved to study some other alternatives, and because we really thought that demolition is a mistake and that we can make more and better than demolition, and especially with the cost of demolition and rebuild, which is something like in between 150,000 to 180,000 euros per one dwelling. And we studied different cases to see what we could do with the buildings, with the structures, but also in the economy, what would be the cost of the very good transformation. But we started with facing this very strong program of demolition with also another strong idea that transformation, never demolish, always add, extend, give more to do more and better. And we published in 2008 this research, which named PLUS, which was based on the case study on some example of the national program, where we could study this, all these buildings, and we studied carefully this really in depth, in detail, including the economy of transformation. And we could see that there was always a solution to transform, to open, to make what was not done at the time, means give more light, more space, to make extensions, and doing that to change quite radically the life inside. But again, from the inside out. It means that we were much involved in to check what was not working inside the dwelling of the existing, much more than the appearance of the buildings. And the goal was to bring from the inside more space, more light, more possibilities of uses. And doing this extension, transformation, opening, also the transformation of the building was radical. So on different examples, we arrived to the conclusion that in terms of structure, it was always possible to do something. In terms of economy, the cost of those transformations was in between 40,000 to 60,000 euros. It means 1/3 of the cost of demolition and transformation. So we had the opportunity to make a very few projects, the one which was mentioned in Paris, but now I will show you another one which we have completed recently in Bordeaux, based on the same principles of opening, giving more space and giving more light. This is in this neighborhood of in the city of Bordeaux. When it was built in the 70s, it was not really in the city center, but nowadays it's really in the center and a quite nice place to be. And we worked on these 3 big buildings, those we have who have orange paintings on. So it means that it's an amount of 530 dwellings. It's social housing ownership, social housing company of the Bordeaux metropolis. It means the city of Bordeaux and some other towns around. So this is a situation that we found. The city has studied the project of demolition and rebuild, but it was quite difficult to make it because they had to relocate first 530 families, which is a quite long process that takes nearly 10 years. And of course, most of the inhabitants wanted to stay in the neighborhood. So finally, they decided to keep the buildings and to make a project of transformation. So after the process of competition, we were involved in the project. But again, this idea of from inside out lead us not to see the buildings from the outside and just to say they are ugly and we have to change the cladding, to repaint or to bring insulation around. It's totally different when you visit the dwellings one after one, when we meet people and we see this building not in the same way afterwards. We see them as a big collection of people, of space, and that is also what is driving the project. With a lot of different spaces, different atmospheres, but always a value given by the inhabitants themselves through little details, through they create their life inside. So the project proposed for the competition was starting from this existing, as this part is only one little part of one of the big blocks, 3 dwellings per level in this part of block, 1 elevator, 1 stair, and 2 of the 3 dwellings with 2 orientations, and 1 with only south orientation. So the proposition was to make a large extension on the south side, 4 meters, and to open all the handrails of the windows so that it would be possible from any room to move to the extension, and also to change also the mobility inside the dwelling, not always from the room to the corridor and to another room, but also another possibility to move through the winter garden. And the process was including the fact that all the families would stay during the process of construction. There was no possibility to move anyone. So we studied a process that would allow to make it with just a few apartments empty for just stay of one day when we did some important works. And also we use the capacity of the roof to introduce also few new dwellings on the roof. So the process of construction started, and with this system of elements, modules that were built out of the site and just bring to be built on the building, we arrived to this transformation of the building. So the process is this one. First, we built foundation because it's self-supported. It's not supported by the existing construction. Then we bring these modules of, in this case, it was 4 meters by 7.5. With a handrail, the final handrail, which is already built. It's also used by for the workers, but it's the final one. And then, level by level, the process of construction continues. During this phase, there is no disturbance of the inhabitants because we are in front of, so they don't suffer of anything. And when 3 levels are built, we can start the process of opening the handrails. And then so the process, the commitment that was taken with the inhabitants, that this process of opening runways and replacing by the new sliding glass door should be 2 days at the maximum. So more or less, it was done for the 530 dwellings. That is great performance from the companies, because we had a chain of 3 companies who were doing this work. And the most longer was finally to repaint inside around where we have cut the handrails. And afterwards, we can open to the families. So the transformation is radical for a cost of 45,000 euros per dwelling, which is nearly financed by the company. They got little subsidies from the city, something like 10% of the budget, but due to the big amount of incomes of the rents that they get every month, they could get also a credit to build this extension. So if this is possible for a social housing company in this condition, that could be also possible for private ownerships that many times are not subsidized by any public institution. But it's possible to make positive financial operation. And some pictures before and after. Most of the dwellings, they get something like 50 square meters extra space. And then we had the second process of interior renovation to renovate electricity, bathrooms. Also, we changed elevator. We created new elevators to multiply the facility of access. And sometimes we had also to make new paintings. So from this situation to this one. And also what is interesting through this extension is that we really improved the thermal quality of the building. We just did an insulation on the north facade, but not on the south facade because of the extra space. And we cut the energy consumption in more than 2 just by doing this extra space, changing the glass windows by good one, good performance. And here, this is at a few weeks, a few months after the completion, and with the new dwellings on the top floor, that we use the potential of the flat roof to make this case study with very light constructing system, but a wonderful view on that place. Just a few, very fast, a few data to show that on left, the existing, on the right, the new. Just to see that we added something like 22 to 50 square meters per dwelling. The energy consumption was divided by 3. Before 153 kilowatt per square meter per year. And now we had at 48.8. The cost was 45,000 euro net. And compared to the cost of demolition and rebuild, which was evaluated before they started the competition, which was 150,000. And the building was occupied with the construction, and there is no rent increase. That was a discussion between the inhabitants and the owner, because they have less expenses for heating or for different charges, and the rent of the apartment is compensated. So in total, they don't have any increase of the rent. So just a few also public building, which is the third part of my presentation and also an important part of our practice. But always with the same ideas of giving more space for program, but also for appropriation. And as I say, our goal is always to give as much extra space and program space than program space that allows to extend uses, to invent uses, always giving light, giving views, giving this possibility of being inside and outside at the same time. So this is a school of architecture in the city of Nantes. So that's a program for a school of nearly 1,000 students. The program was 9,000 square meters, and finally we built 18,000, plus a big amount of outdoor terraces. Always by using very efficient constructing system, like big concrete systems, using also a design of elements which introduce repetition, but also using the most performant elements of catalog, of the manufacturer catalogs. The best dimension for sliding doors. The best. So every manufacturer has like this product, which is the most efficient in terms of amount of material and cost, and we try to work with these manufacturers to know what is the most efficient. So this starts from a very huge structure that occupies all the plot. So it allows to build an important amount of grounds, of new grounds, with an important capacity of 1,000 kilos per square meters of possible charges, and high level on the ceiling. The ground floor is 9 meters on the ceiling, and the upper floors 7 meters, which allows to rebuild inside the volumes and to allow a kind of flexibility for the school for a while, but maybe in the future, in 30 years, for another program. So this allows this extra space also to introduce climatic space. So here in green, this is the program with classrooms, with auditorium, library. And in blue, this is the unprogrammed space, but which has mostly different conditions of heating, of temperature. So in this place where the uses are very various, and it really meets the expectations of the school with different pedagogies, different programs. Even the large auditorium has this large opening onto the square. It was one of the expectations of the scenography department to test some, and it's not only used for the courses, it's also used for external events like dance, theaters, or conference. So the school is also able to welcome, to host a lot of events of the city that many times ask the assistant of students to prepare these events. Here, in this extra space, it was, for example, in this case, kind of a virtual model of the city of Berlin, a plan which is totally wrong, but it was supposed to be a vision of the plan of Berlin, and always this perspective, these views and light given by the space, but also always controlled by curtains, by shadings. A large ramp is linking all the levels, and it allows to provide terraces at every level, which can be used by students, but also by different events or different uses, concerts, or like this last summer, outdoor cinema that stayed here during 3 months. But that was the work of a studio of students during all the year to calculate the scaffolding for the screen, to prepare the construction of the screen, to prepare the organization of the seats and the public. And the last project, in a very few minutes, it's a project for a contemporary art center in the north of France. It was also the result of a competition. So we had to reuse this old building, which was one of the most important building of this industrial era, where they finished to assemble the big boats before they leave to the sea. Unfortunately, this era has been totally destroyed, but one of the buildings has been kept, and it was kept as a piece of memory of the site. And we had, for the competition, to fill this space with a contemporary art center with something like 3,000 square meters of storage and 3,000 square meters for exhibition space. So the visit was amazing. We discovered this huge space with a high capacity of space, of light, a floor that could support 5 tons by square meters, because they were used to have big pieces of boats inside. And we had very fast the intuition that it was a mistake to fill this space, that we will lose something fantastic in filling it with floors. So starting from this situation, that was the program requested more or less to make it. And we proposed in the competition to keep this space totally empty and to build a twin, totally new on the right, which could offer in the best condition storage, exhibition space, while we could keep also the use of this amazing space. And the new building was made with a core, with a concrete structure, and the second envelope, totally transparent, which has also an important use for climate control. That was the rendering for the competition, and the building completed. So we could achieve all the intention, but also the expectations of the program. So the connection from the existing to the new is through just a few openings. A system of staircase, which is not in, which is in the envelope, in between the core and the envelope, that always allows to take profit of the wonderful view on the sea. One of the most important exhibition space with 9 meters on the ceiling. That was requested by the program, but also some other little rooms. And the last level, which is unprogrammed, but which is a result of the block for storage exhibition and this envelope done with ETFE that also have all the system of ventilation and shading that allows to control the good climate inside. But it's offered to the use, and there are a lot of exhibition, but also the parties, opening parties. The gap in between the new and the existing, and they are really twins. That was for us the best way to associate this existing and the new without any competition and without any demonstration. On the north view and the night view, which also allows to see through the transparency what happens inside. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anne. We have time for questions after the morning session, and we have seen a very wonderful presentation of some very climate-responsive architecture, very experimental and open, and perhaps we should invite Anne to come to Berlin and look at some of the buildings around us here and do a similar transformation, as it has clearly shown that humans can grow in greenhouses with lots of daylight. So thank you very much for your talk. It is now my pleasure to introduce Astrid Achatz from the Fraunhofer Alliance